How you doing, guys? It's Chris coming to you for the Comic Haul crew with my haul video for the last few months. Starting off with a bang here with an Image comic, which I know may seem out of the ordinary for some of you, for me. And it's issue 1 of Home. Really great and amazing story about a kid who discovers that he has superpowers while he is with his mom trying to become an American citizen. Really good comic. If you haven't picked it up, go out and give it a shot. It's Home issue 1. It's issue 2. Next up is Crush and Lobo. Another really great comic. If you've read, if you've been reading Teen Titans and you knew Crush, I think you might like actually reading Crush and Lobo. It's only an 8-issue limited series. They're only up to issue 3 currently. And it's actually been a really great read so far. I think you guys would enjoy it. Next up is Superman Red and Blue, issues 3 and 4. Red and Blue is a continuation of this comic that's been going around. There's Batman Black and White, and there's currently Wonder Woman Black and Gold. Superman Red and Blue is just a really great story. It's really great artwork because they only accent the red and the blues in the story, which help you really focus more on the actual story that is written as opposed to the art to a degree. I love the cover that's on issue 4. I saw it and I immediately just had to have it. There was no getting around that whatsoever. Next up is Geiger, issue 3 and 4. They're up to issue 5 on Geiger. It is a really great story that I am so upset with myself that I missed out on when it first came out. Again, this is a Jeff Johns story done for Image Comics. If you like Jeff Johns, or if you want something that's different, if you want to put down the capes and tights and fantasy land of DC and Marvel heroes, pick up Image's Geiger, and I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, and you will be hooked just like me, waiting on the next issue with bated breath every time you hear it's gonna drop. It's worth the read, trust me. Next up on my pull was Green Lantern number 3. Now, I've always been a Green Lantern fan, but I'm even more interested in this story of Green Lantern because Jo is being brought into the fold as an official, she's always been an official Green Lantern, but now she's like in the Green Lantern comic book, not just, in the 12-issue run of Far Sector. And then, of course, we have the Teen Lantern with the gauntlet backpack on. And so the two Green Lanterns, who are kind of the outcasts because they're not this, they're not like everybody else. They're not the standard quote Green Lanterns that we know about, are now like the main focus of this new Green Lantern comic. And it has been phenomenal so far. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you are a Green Lantern fan, definitely pick it up. Next up, Masters of the Universe Revelation number 1. You guys, if you haven't watched the cartoon, this is the prequel comic to the cartoon. So go out, grab it, pick it up, see what was going on before the show started. You will not be disappointed, just like you were not disappointed when you watched the Netflix show. Trust me, Kevin Smith did a good job on this, much like the show itself. I think you guys will enjoy it. Get out there, give it a read. Next up, Batman Secret Files, The Signal. Now, The Signal is one of those characters from DC that, kind of came in. Nobody knew exactly what he was gonna do, but he turned out to be good, and everybody kind of loves it. So definitely go out and pick up the Signal, the Batman, the Signal. It's worth it because if you liked the character just when they showed up, you'll like the character even more. Now that he's officially got it, it's not his own comic, it's just a Batman Secret Files, but it's good nonetheless, trust me. Next up, the United States of Captain America. Alex Ross wraparound cover, Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes, and even John Walker join the fight to help the Captain America network and all these other kids that are going around being Captain Americas. This is only up to issue 2. Really great read if you haven't picked it up yet. The movie just dropped, and if you haven't watched it, you're missing out. But Suicide Squad number 5, and Suicide Squad has been a great read so far. They're only up to issue 6. Haven't read it yet, but I've got everything up before that. If you haven't picked it up, if you haven't been reading it, you're totally missing out. And you should definitely pick up Suicide Squad as a really great comic. Add it to your pull list. Next up, the Teen Titans Academy Yearbook. Now this is just a little supplemental, but it was a really great in-depth look at some of the characters that are in the Teen Titans Academy. It's interesting that they finally got around to doing something that, the Avengers have done for a while now, and that the JSA have been working on too. But they actually opened an academy in Titans Tower to teach kids how to be heroes, to eventually become Titans, to eventually be the next members of the Justice League. And there's a whole bunch of twists and turns in the actual Titans comic. And so if you haven't picked it up, again, another great comic to add to your pull list. If you are a fan of that kind of a big book that has multiple characters in it, so it's not just one, definitely pick up Teen Titans Academy because you're going to get your money's worth. Next up, 7 Secrets, number 10. They are up to issue 11. I wish I had jumped on this again, much like with Something Is Killing the Children. I wish I had jumped on this when it started. 7 Secrets is, again, one of those Boom Studios comics that just kind of came out of nowhere and just blew up to the point where now anytime I hear that Boom Studios has a new comic book coming out, I'm going to grab number 1 because I know it's going to be amazing. 7 Secrets, Something's Killing the Children, Once and Future, Power Rangers, like Boom Studios, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Boom Studios is doing amazing things with comics these days. And if you're not reading them, trust me, you're missing out on some of the best comics that are hitting the streets now. Next up, Infinite Frontier number 1. I picked up Infinite Frontier because after reading the Zero, I've read everything leading up to it, had to pick up number 1. And then I noticed when issue 2 came out that the comics actually the alternate covers are all connecting covers, which I did not know initially. So they kind of snuck that on me. And so now, on top of wanting to read the story because the story is actually really good, I'm getting them all to make sure I can connect all the covers. So, Infinite Frontier number 1. Next up, Batman Urban Legend number 4 and 5. Batman Urban Legends is a really great read because you're getting a story. You're getting side stories, but they don't feel like you're getting whole characters are getting books about themselves, so you can get more in depth in the world of Batman outside of just Batman. Because it's great to read a Batman story, but sometimes I want to know what's going on around with Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown, and why they're both Batgirls right now, why they've decided to come back to the fold, at least for Stephanie, or what's going on with Batwing and all these other characters that don't really get a lot of time to shine in any of the 5 to 6 Batman books that are out. So, it may be a 7th book, but it's definitely worth to read to find out about the Bat family from more than just Bruce's point of view, because as we all know, Bruce's point of view can be really wrong sometimes. So definitely get out and pick up Batman Urban Legends. It's worth to read. Next up is a comic that I was going to get because, again, I like the big story comic books with multiple characters. And so we have Justice League Last Ride. Justice League Last Ride takes us on the story of the Green Lanterns coming to Earth's Green Lanterns coming to the Justice League, asking for help to hide Lobo. And it's just like, what? You want us to help you hide? And Superman has issues with this. Everybody has some slight issue with the request to hide Lobo because it's Lobo. And so the decision is, I won't give it away on what the decision is made on where to hide him, but definitely pick it up because it is worth to read. It is something you're not expecting the story is completely different throughout, and it's just what you're looking for if you're a fan of the Justice League. It's not what you expect when it comes to the story. Next up was definitely a comic I had to pick up because I am a fan of the Alien franchise. Alien number 5. And it is a great story because it's actually does not involve any of the characters from the movie. So other than the aliens and then like the Wayland Corporation or whatever, but it's a really great read because we're getting a chance to find out more about the universe of Aliens, and it's just so great to see this happen. I just love it, and I think if you are a fan, again, if you're looking for a comic book that gives you that same feel and that action of reading X-Men or the Avengers or Captain America, whatever, but without having to worry about the bright, flashy colors of a superhero comic, the Alien comic gives you that. Definitely. Trust me. Next up, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow number 2. This is a surprise hit to me. I was not expecting it. I was going to pick it up because I am a Superman fan. And so I picked up the first issue, and I have to admit I am totally blown away at the story that is unfolding in this comic book. And I am entirely intrigued in seeing where it's going to go in the 8 issues that they're doing for it. To give you the premise behind it, the little girl on the cover there with the sword's father is murdered, and she's looking for somebody to help her avenge her father. She stumbles across Supergirl, who has ventured out into space away from a yellow sun because she just turned 21 and she wanted to get drunk. And she knows she can't get drunk under a yellow sun. So she ventures out into space away from a yellow sun so her powers will loosen a little bit, dampen. And so that way she could get drunk to try to enjoy her 21st birthday. And the two of them meet, and Supergirl agrees to help this girl on her journey of revenge and self-discovery. And it's been an amazing ride so far in just the 2 issues that they've already done. You guys are going to love it if you want to go pick it up. Next up, I told you these were amazing comics. I picked up number 4 because of the cover. Picked up number 5 for the same reason. Superman Red and Blue number 5. Just an amazing cover. Couldn't pass it up. Next up is a comic I picked up on a whim. Didn't know if it was going to be good. Turns out it actually was. Bunny Mask number 2 is by Aftershock. Again, totally different than the big 2. Not even a Boom Studios this time. But I did pick it up because Aftershock has proven to me that they can actually put out some really great comics. When it comes to, I lucked into reading an Aftershock comic called Rough Riders, and it was amazing to me. It was kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And so I was willing to give Bunny Mask a try, and I have enjoyed Bunny Mask ever since. Even though I know it's only on issue number 2, it has still been a fun ride to read. Next up, Checkmate number 1. I am a huge fan of spy thrillers, and so Checkmate does just that. It gives me that spy thriller feel that we all know that, Checkmate is known for. That's what they do. Can we trust them? Do we know what they're going to be doing? Not entirely. But with Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, at the helm, who knows? We may be able to actually trust Checkmate when it's all said and done. But they're only up to issue 2, so we'll have to wait and see. Next up is issue 5 of 6 for the Crime Syndicate. Definitely a different take. For the first time, we're getting a look at the Crime Syndicate's world and how Alexander Luthor deals with it, and how he's trying to build his own Legion of Justice. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that actually all pans out for him and it. And there's only 1 issue left, so it's a really great read. If you've missed it, go out, pick up all 6 issues. You will enjoy it. Trust me. Nothing like seeing an evil Justice League. And speaking of Justice League, I picked up Justice League Infinity number 1. It's a great story, Justice League Infinity. My only issue is that it's still done in the Bruce Timm style of the animated series, because that's what it's about. It's about picking up where the Justice League Unlimited and all that left off. And I would prefer to see that animated personally. So I picked up the first issue not knowing. Not sure if I'll pick up any more of him. But if you were a fan of, much like everybody else of Justice League Unlimited, you will pick up Justice League Infinity. You'll enjoy it for that nostalgia feel alone. And then you can make the judgment for yourself. Next comic up is one that I did not think I would actually like when I first got it, because I thought it was a little ridiculous in the concept. But Ha is and has been one of the best comics that I have been reading this year, hands down. This is Ha number 6 with obviously the Dr. Seuss homage to the cover. And so definitely go out and pick up Ha. It's a nice little Image comic. I don't know how well you'll be able to find it, but if you can, trust me, you'll enjoy it. Speaking of aliens, yes. Aliens Aftermath number 1 is out. It has been the 35th anniversary this year of Alien franchise. Aliens Aftermath takes place after the movies. So this one is based with, even though the Aliens comic book is also still based within the universe, Aliens Aftermath takes place after the actual movies. And so if you are a fan of the movies and you want something that's a little tied more directly to them, definitely pick up Aliens Aftermath number 1 for that. Next up, another Image comic that has been amazing that I picked up over the last couple months is Radiant Black. This is issues 5 and 6. Radiant Black is a story is a really great story of this kid who becomes a reluctant hero after moving back home because his life fell apart, and he ends up becoming a superhero. And trust me, the story did not go where I thought it was gonna go. So I think you'll enjoy it just for the twists and turns. Next up, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard about it, Nice House on the Lake Book 2. Book 3 is already out, and Book 1 is on its 3rd printing. So if you haven't picked it up, I'm definitely sure you can go out and find a copy now, because there's a lot of them. Next is Eve number 2. Eve is a really great story. I did not think I was going to enjoy it, but I picked it up again on a whim because a couple other guys on the comic crew had picked it up and enjoyed it and said it was really good. So I went ahead and did, and they were right. I have enjoyed it ever since. Eve number 2. Go out and get it if you haven't got it. Next up, Batman Catwoman. Issues 4 and 5 with the Mask of the Phantasm homage cover. If you are a Batman fan, you know who Mask of the Phantasm is. You know what that was all about. And this story is the first story ever, if I'm not mistaken, since Mask of the Phantasm came out, that brings the Phantasm into the actual Batman official Batman mythos in the DC Universe comic book realm. Before that, the Phantasm was only in the movie. The Phantasm hadn't appeared in the comic books or anywhere in any of the shows or anything. And so now we officially have the Phantasm in a Batman Catwoman story, bringing the Phantasm, bringing the circle whole, closing the circle, giving us that what we were looking for when it comes to that Phantasm being a part of the Batman universe. Next up is Truth and Justice number 6. Truth and Justice has been a really great read that I picked up again on a whim. Didn't know if it was going to be any good, and I've been hooked ever since. Definitely go out and give it a chance. Each issue, again, debuts a different character, so you're not always reading about the same person, and you get a more in-depth look at characters across the DC universe as opposed to just reading an individual book. It's kind of a myriad book kind of thing. Next up is Static Season 1 number 2. Had to get the alt cover for it because that's just the hot streak, and Static fight off has just always been cool because unfortunately he's always been kind of like that nemesis to Static, it seems like. And then next up, Icon and Rocket number 1. I am a 90s kid, definitely, even though I was born in 79. I remember when Milestone first came around, when Rocket and Icon first appeared, when Static first appeared. And let me tell you, this has that feel, but brought forward to a modern time period, and it has been an enjoyable ride with the second issue of Static, and has been amazing with the first issue of Icon and Rocket, and I cannot wait until issue 2 of Icon and Rocket, and then the first issue when it drops of Hardware. Next up, Shazam number 1. I'm kind of sad it's only a 4-issue run, but at the same time, it's still really good because Shazam, Billy Batson is in the Teen Titans Academy comic book. So if you want to get more Shazam love because he doesn't have an ongoing series, definitely pick up Teen Titans Academy and these 4 issues of Shazam when it drops. Next, Moon Knight number 1. I've been a Moon Knight fan for quite a while, and I know everybody's like ecstatic trying to find Werewolf by Night comics, and they did the reprints and everything. I had to get the variant cover of this Moon Knight because I just love the way this one looks out of all the ones that were out there. If you are a Moon Knight fan, definitely get out and pick it up. You're not going to be disappointed, much like any other comic book when it comes to something that you love. Then we got X-Men Legends number 5. I have been personally loving the X-Men Legends story because it is giving me those 90s X-Men vibes. It is like reading all those X-Men comics, but just with better color and paper. So in each one, it's only a couple stories in each issue. Each issue is only like each story arc only covers about like 2 issues, but it's definitely worth to read because you're getting those old school feels from it. It is definitely worth to pick up. Plus, they've been doing action figure covers for them, so if you want to get those, you can get the action figure covers for X-Men Legends, which look like the old school 90s cartoon toys that were out at the time that I'm pretty sure all of us had at one point. Blue and Gold number 1. It's only an 8-issue run, but it's Booster Gold and Blue Beetle added again. And that's really, we all know the hijinks that they get into, so this comic book is going to be a wild ride for the next 7 issues. So hopefully we'll see exactly what goes on and how crazy it can really get with the Blue and Gold. Next up is the mini deaths of Leyla Starr. So make sure you guys can see that cover really well. This is, I didn't know what to expect going into this comic book. And again, this is a Boom Studios knock out of the park. This is issue 4. There's only going to be 5 issues. And it tells a story of Death basically being fired and how Death takes it. So I won't give away anything more than that because it's a really great read. It's aside from the fact that it's not superhero oriented, it also deals with a completely different culture because the story takes place involving around the Indian culture about life and death and rebirth and reincarnation and all of that. So if you can find them, pick up the first 4 issues before issue 5 drops and enjoy a really great read of the Leyla Starr, the mini deaths of Leyla Starr. And then we have Superman and the Authority. It's only going to be a 4-issue run, but it is going to be an amazing 4 issues, I can tell you. The first, you see old school Superman, not old school, but you see Superman here. What looks like to be the Kingdom Come symbol. We've got Midnighter, we've got Apollo, we've got Natalia, John Henry Irons' Natasha is Steel, and then Manchester Black. Not sure about the other 3 that are in there. But the first issue has Superman trying to recruit Manchester Black, which if you know anything, if you've seen the animated movie of Superman vs. the Elite, you know how well Superman and Manchester get along. So you can just imagine what must be happening for Superman to be reaching out to Manchester. Then we have United States of Captain America number 2. I went and got the character design cover because it looks really cool. Plus, she's really interesting. I think you guys, like I said before, I've already talked about it. I think you guys will really like it. Next issue of Batman Secret Files was involving the Huntress. I went with this cover because I like that photorealism look and looking like an actual person on the cover. And then, of course, next we have Wonder Woman Black and Gold. Amazing comic book. This is issue 2 of Wonder Woman Black and Gold. I think you guys would really love it, just like the Superman Red and Blue and the Batman Black and White. Another really great read. And then, last up on here, we have Batman Reptilian, which is, it's Batman, it's Garth Ennis, and it's a new villain being introduced, which to me is like more than enough for anything you could ever possibly want. Trust me. Go out and get it. This is book 2. It's only up to book 2. Go out and grab it. If you haven't grabbed it already, you will love it. Trust me. So this is Chris with my comic haul, you guys. And so until next time, as always, be good to each other. Like, share, and subscribe.